doing a quick training on zip forms. So texasrealestate.com. And once you go to texasrealestate.com, you're going to hit where it has a login, and then it'll come back to the site and say zip forms. You're going to click on zip forms. And basically what we're going to do is just go through every paragraph of a contract in about 10 minutes. So when the screen turns blue, you know that you only hit one button, and that's the new button. And you'll see that when the new button comes up, it's in the left corner of zip forms. And again, all you'll do is hit the new button when you log into zip forms from here on out. So again, texasrealestate.com, or however you get to zip forms. Once the screen turns blue, hit the new button. You're going to have 3 boxes to pick from: seller, buyer, lease, which is a tenant landlord. You pick purchase. If we're going to write up an offer, I'm going to name it test. And that would actually, you would name it your client's name. Always select residential. And then you just pick from the drop down the buyer template. You'd hit save, and the next screen, you'll be looking at a white summary square. Once you see the white summary square, you want to go 2 tabs over to documents. And once you go 2 tabs over to documents and click it, you'll see all the forms that have been pre-filled for you. So we're going to go and open up the contract. Again, for single family, duplex, triplex, quadplex, and a townhome, you'll use the 1 to 4 family contract. When you open it up, I always say that to write an offer, you need to have the agent full report and the tax roll printed on each side of your computer. Once the contract opens, you're going to have the pre-approval letter for the buyer's name and the tax roll for the seller's name. On both the agent full report and the tax roll, you'll have generally the lot and block, maybe no lot and block. You'll have the subdivision, which is the same thing as addition right there. That means subdivision. It'll have the city, the county. You'll put the address. And then you go down to paragraph 2D, Delta, and that's where you would put chandelier or ceiling fan in living room. The seller wants to exclude it. Paragraph 2E, the mineral rights stay with the buyer, so they'd have to be excluded in a mineral right reservation. Paragraph 3A is the down payment. 3B is the loan amount. When you add those, you'll always get 3C. We already have third-party financing marked. Paragraph 4 is leases of people and things. So if there's solar panels, or if there's an existing tenant, that means that your buyer needs to get the leases transferred over and the security deposit. So that'll address that. Leases of people and things. Paragraph 5 is going to be the title, earnest, and option. Title company is always negotiable. The address will be on the MLS printout. So the first blank will always be the title company. Remember, we don't write a check to any human. So the first blank in paragraph 5, you'll put the title company. Then you'll put their address, and then you'll put the dollar amount of the earnest money. Already I have option filled in at $100, so you can change that, but you'll always know where the option goes, not to get it confused with the earnest money. Skip 5A1, and you'll go to B. It already has 10 days. You can negotiate that lower. You go to paragraph 6. Paragraph 6 already has seller paying title, and that's negotiable. You'll put the same title company that's in 5 in 6. Go to the top of page 3. This paragraph is saying that if the seller has your existing survey, they have 3 days to furnish it. If the seller cannot find it and you have this first paragraph marked, which I template, that means the seller will buy a new survey. It's only if the seller finds the survey, if it's no longer deemed appropriate, that whoever's marked in the end of the paragraph will buy it. So just remember that if that first paragraph's marked, the seller absolutely has to find their survey or they're buying one. And then if they can't find it, it depends on what's marked here at the end, that if they can find it, if it's not deemed acceptable, it's whoever's marked at the end will pay it. If your buyer wants to put a daycare, a childcare, supercuts in the house, you need to put it right here in paragraph 6D Delta for objections, daycare. I have residential pool and other residential uses. And then you have a number of days to object if you can't put what you put in this sentence in the house. Most homes have an HOA that'll already be marked, paragraph 6E2. You go down to paragraph 7. You're either going to have the disclosure, not have it, or it's not applicable. Okay, if you don't have it, you put a number of days there. The seller has a number of days to get you the seller's disclosure. And either way, whenever they get it to you, if you don't have it when you write the offer, you got 7 days to terminate. You go down to 7D Delta, that's as is. It's templated. 7H, 700 for a residential service contract, commonly referred to as a home warranty. Paragraph 8, you put you, if you're the buyer, seller, you put if you have a 10% share in anything that's buying it, or you put if you have a relation to a child, parent, spouse. Child, parent, spouse. Buyer is buyer agent's relative. Buyer is buyer agent. Seller is seller agent's relative. Seller is seller agent. Closing date, paragraph 9. You just click on the blank and you pick a close date. You go to paragraph 10. That's possession. Generally, it's going to be upon closing and funding. Every once in a while, you might have a seller's temporary lease, so you'd have to mark that. Okay, and you'd unmark that. All right. Paragraph 11, I don't like to write anything in there. Paragraph 12 is where you would ask the seller to pay buyer's closing costs. We had an agent the other day in our office. She's a seller agent. The selling, S-E-L-L-I-N-G, the selling agent who worked for the buyer wrote up a VA offer and thought just because it was VA that the seller was paying closing costs. That's not true. You have to put the amount that you want the seller to pay for your buyer in paragraph 12, right here where the dollar sign is. From paragraph 12, you go all the way to paragraph 21, you should have your email there. And that's so you can get copied and then put your buyer's email here. Paragraph 22 are the addendums. Most common are third party and HOA. They're already marked. If you're going to add anything else, check mark it. If you don't see it pre-printed, mark it here and type it other. This last page is going to be the broker information. On the left, we've already templated our stuff. On the right, you're going to fill out every line equal to the left. So don't go any further than city, state, and zip if there's 2 brokers. And again, all this information is on the agent full report. That concludes our training on the 1 to 4 family contract. Y'all be safe and go get some.